Welcome to Inside Hilltopper Athletics, brought to you by Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration. Here's your host, Todd Ullum.
Welcome into Inside Hilltopper Athletics. I am Todd Ullum. Joining me, head coach of football here at West Liberty, Roger Wiley. We're going to take a look back at week one of this season and preview week two as well. Coach, welcome to the show. Week one started off a little rough. We thought there might be some weather delays with some of the forecasts, but luckily we got away with some of that just to start the game, but throughout thought we might have worse. But the penalties in the first half, both teams, a lot of flags thrown in this one. First half seemed like an NFL first half. But the way the game started, the Toppers kick off and Walsh able to take it to the end zone for a touchdown. A rough way to start for the Topper special teams.
Yeah, I mean, that was kind of a indication of what happened throughout the game. I mean, it's hard enough to beat the other team, then you got to be, you're beating yourself with the penalties, and then the three special teams mishaps, and those are things that didn't happen all through camp, and this is probably the most physical camp that we've had just because of the number of younger and newer players we're counting on. We needed to see them in more game time situations, and we even did a couple kickoffs and kickoff returns somewhat as live as you possibly can. But it was very disappointing in our performance and how we played, and more a lot on the penalties. I mean, there was one point in the game in the third quarter where we had more penalty yards than we actually had offensive yards. And so those are things we can clean up because, the penalties, the offsides, the false starts, those are self-discipline things that we hadn't been doing. I don't know if it was because it was the first thing, and you never want to use the freshman year, first time jitters, first time game jitters, So hopefully we can rectify those things, and I told the kid what's in the past and is in the past, and we got to move forward and we got to play like we've practiced. That was probably the most disappointing thing, is that I don't think at any point in time that we play and execute as well as we did in practice. And so that's one thing that we have to learn to do, is take that practice execution to the field.
And the Toppers early on found themselves in a hole, but the first touchdown of the game for the Toppers was a 28-yard run for Hunter Patterson, a local product out of Oak Glen. Big moment there for a young offense, new faces, and that young offensive line.
Yeah, I mean, you look at it. We for the first time ever since I've been here, we started two true freshmen on the left side of the ball because of injury and some other things, and hopefully, and it's only going to help us in the future with them seeing they actually didn't do all that bad. There was a couple mental mistakes, and we weren't able to prepare. That's the hard thing. We weren't able to prepare as well as we have, because we had no clue what they were going to run with a new defensive coordinator. So we were kind of focusing on all different fronts, and there was a couple times where they lined up in something that we didn't, and we got it straightened out. But they pass block really well, I thought, because they had to start bringing blitzes to get some pressure. And so that's a good sign for us, is that now our run game wasn't quite as physical as I thought it would be. We did run the ball well sporadic. Obviously, we ran it better than we did last year, and last year I had an experienced line coming back. So, but we have to get on the same page with the quarterbacks and receivers. So there's a lot of corrections, and it's an old cliche. You make your biggest jump from your first game to your second game. So we'll see what happens this Thursday night.
Trevor Lagarde, his first touchdown pass of the season, a beautiful pass down the seam to Ben Turner. That looked pinpoint perfect. Your thoughts on his first touchdown pass?
Yeah, it was a good play. Obviously, he threw the ball on time. He threw him open, which we haven't had here for a long time, meaning the ball was in the air before he was even open. We caught the nickel converting his hips to safety. They were rolling over the top of Hurst. So it was a good read, and it was a good throw. But more what we need out of him, and it's always been this way in our offense, he's got to get us in and out of bad plays. He's got to be able to check when he sees something. There was a few opportunities in the game where he had a chance to make a check that would have been an easy conversion on first down, and we got to get better on our third down conversion. But overall, for a first game, good performance. First game as a starter, he did play in one game last year and was able to redshirt. So I was really happy with Alex Dunleavy getting his first action of college football. I think he ended up 3 for 3 and led a touchdown drive. And so, that race in camp was so tight, and it wasn't tight between just them two. It was all four of them that competed every day. Coach Conwell decided, when I said, hey, we're going to get him out, get somebody else in. I said another name, he said one name. And I said, okay, you work with them all the time. That's who you want to go with. Let's go. And so.
Well, on the defensive side of the ball, were there any standouts or kids that you saw that really played well this past Thursday night?
Well, as far as returning guys, I thought the D-line, when they did stay on side, played well. It's always been a stalwart for us. I thought the linebackers played well. We had some balls go over the top of us with guys there. One was an underthrown pass that they came back, made a play, broke a tackle, scored. So you just can't give up the easy ones, and what you're not going to see because they didn't touch Elijah Moore-Smith. They really didn't go his way. I don't think he gave up a reception going to his side because he had now, conversely, the other four corners that we played on the other side, that's where they were going with the ball. But the linebacker situation, we're missing our starting middle linebacker that will be back this week. But I thought that Tyson and Shemp played well in there. Obviously, Horsley got pressure. The defensive ends were getting up the field, and the three guys inside played their hearts out. So, it has to be a team effort on all facets, but especially on the defensive side.
Well, final score of that one in week one, 42-21 in favor of Walsh. We move on to this week. Limestone comes to town from South Carolina. They've got some good players on the team, a very good quarterback returning for them. Your thoughts on that game this coming Thursday night?
Well, obviously, they got a good quarterback and a good running back. So, and again, we're going in. It's a whole new coaching staff. We kind of guess, they're going to stay a zone scheme. They got the quarterback. They're going to throw it around. It's a little bit easier on the offensive end. But for them defensively, again, we've been practicing against all different fronts because we don't know what we're going to see. Traditionally, last year with the film we have, they played an even front. But with a new coach, a new coordinator, you don't know if they're going to come in with an odd front. I've seen people hire a new coordinator, and they traditionally coached an even front, and then they've come in and played all odd fronts. I think some of it's dictated by personnel, and looking at their personnel coming back on the defensive side of the ball, I would almost make a good assumption that they're going to be in an even front and be in some type of 4-2-5 look. Or even a 4-3. If they come out in a 3-4, I'll be surprised, but at least we've somewhat prepared for it.
This team did pretty well for themselves last year. I believe they're going to be their first game of the season.
Correct.
Does that give them a little bit of an advantage knowing that they've got a little bit of recent game film on you guys and you don't have any on them?
Well, actually, in the film exchange rules, if they don't have a game, then we don't exchange the film. So, but if where they have film is from last year and we haven't changed much offensively or defensively, we might run a little bit different style of defense this week just to change up personnel a little bit. Offensively too, we're going to impress the run on people, so we might stay in more 2 tight end, 3 tight end sets for a while to see how we can get this going.
And not that we want to give any game planning or anything like that away, things that you might change going into next week, or just the mindset going into week 2?
Well, the mindset going into week 2 is offensively we have to be a little bit more aggressive in the run game and a little bit more aggressive in the pass game. I thought we were tentative running routes. I thought we were tentative at times, and you can tell who the returning players were and who wasn't. The big thing we have to clean up is wrong routes. And so I don't understand how you go 2 weeks and don't run a wrong route, and then all of a sudden in the game, when in the biggest maybe the pressure got to him. I have no idea that we were running wrong routes. And Hunter Patterson, I had to talk to him probably after the first quarter, and I said, listen, you're running tentatively. You have to use your speed, and I'm not going to take any credit for it, but as soon as that next carry, he just took off and went. And if he hits things with speed, I thought Anthony Barmer ran the ball well when he came in. And we have a couple more running backs that, are eventually going to get in the game. But the biggest thing you not see with Barmer is his blitz pickup ability. That last drive, he picked up some blitzes on some pretty good stunts that they were running, and he was able to pick them up. So, that being said, we're looking for a major improvement, but the opponent coming in is somewhat of an unknown of what they run. We know that they have some premier players. They know their head coach played in the NFL, so he has some inclination of how to coach football and what's going on in football. You don't play in the NFL if you don't know football. So hopefully that we can, but the bottom line is we only can control what we can control, and that's us. Eliminating penalties, eliminating big plays on special teams. That's going to be the main focus, so we can give our Gus an opportunity to win. If we don't clean those up, we're not going to win very many games.
Well, Coach, I appreciate you taking time out this morning to speak with us. Folks at home, Topper Nation, the Toppers will be back in play Thursday night here at home, West Family Stadium. Thursday night at 7 p.m. It'll be week 2. We'll be happy to have you watch the game and follow us again on all these social medias, topperstation.com. You can also find us on YouTube. Again, Coach, thank you for being with us this week, and we'll see you Thursday night.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Disasters happen. Pick the team that takes care of them all. Powered by offices in Wheeling, Morgantown, and Pittsburgh, Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration is ready to handle any size emergency at a moment's notice. We have the right people, knowledge, and equipment to respond 24 hours a day.
I'm Roger Wiley. When disaster strikes your home or business, tell your insurance provider you prefer the restoration company the Hilltoppers call, Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration.
Welcome back into Inside Hilltopper Athletics. I am Todd Allum. Joining me, men's head soccer coach Sean Regan. Coach, thank you again for joining us. Talked to you at the preview show down at Generations, but now we are much closer to that first game of the season. That one will be September 5th at Ohio Dominican at 7 p.m. It's been a long time coming since the end of last season. It's finally showing up. All the new recruits are in, transfers, all those good things. It's time to talk about the first game in some detail. What do you expect from Ohio Dominican in terms of their style of play and their talent level?
Yeah, so Ohio Dominican is a new team on our schedule. We've never played them in our short program history, so it's a little bit of an unknown. The GMAC is a really good soccer conference. They had top 25 teams and Tiffin and Ashland last year. Ohio Dominican had a bit of a down year. They finished, I think, with just 3 wins. So it's going to be a good matchup for us. To play a team out of conference right away, we can kind of test ourselves. And then with them kind of being just on the bottom half of their conference, it's a realistic game that we think we can win. That's the key. We've had a great preseason. We just had our last preseason game there on the weekend and beat Shepherd 1-0. A lot of encouraging things from that game. That's boasting a lot of confidence going forward.
That was going to be my next question, the team's mindset going into this first one. And do you notice a difference with the newcomers, whether they're just coming in from high school or new to the team as a transfer?
Yeah, so for the returning guys, it's a lot of maturity, is what we're seeing so far in preseason. We've got a couple of guys who have stayed on for their fifth year for grad school. So there's bringing that extra fifth year, and now that they're 23 years old, the maturity level that they've brought is really impressed upon the rest of the guys. And then the incoming players, we've had 2 transfer students, and then we have about 6-7 freshmen. They've all contributed pretty well in preseason, whether they be playing in the games or pushing some of the starters for playing time, or even just making practice better. I think our core as a whole from the group that we brought in has raised our level tremendously.
What are your expectations going into this first game? I know they've got their minds right. Where's your mind and your coaching staff's mind?
Yeah, so I mean, obviously we want to win. The first game. I mean, even though it's non-conference, we only get 2 non-conference games. It's important to start the season well. I think we've done that in the past couple of years. We've gotten good results against regionally ranked opponents and D&E last year and Mercier the year before that. So we particularly started the first game very well. But in back of our minds is what we're thinking. It's non-conference, so we can make some mistakes. We can try some different things because what really matters is Sunday against our next opponents, which is in D&E. So we take it kind of almost like it's a more glorified preseason game with some more extra emphasis. But at the end of the day, it's all about winning the conference.
And I know we don't want to jump too far ahead. No coach does in any sport. But we talk about rivalries a lot in college sports in general. The big one for you is right down the hill. It's not just the West Liberty rivalry, which it is in every sport, but it's a little more personal for you in Wheeling, right down at the bottom of the hill.
That sure is, yes. So Wheeling's always the big derby match that we look forward to. First against my father, now against my brother. It's the one we put in the calendar all the time, so it's great. Good thing is, it's a tough competition. No matter if we're first or they're last or vice versa, it's always going to be a dogfight. And it's kind of a unique scenario that every year we always win in our place, and we always either lose or tie down there. So we've never actually won on the road, and nor have they. So I think that's what we got to try to change this year. I think if we want to get to the top 4, it's about beating the teams around us, at home and away. And certainly you want to do that against your biggest rival.
Well, folks at home that love to watch West Liberty soccer, give you some time and dates, important ones for the Toppers. Again, their first match of the season, September 5th at 7 p.m. at Ohio Dominican to open the season. But the first home match will be Sunday, September 8th at 1 p.m. here on campus against Davis and Elkins. That should be a very good one. And we talked about Wheeling University at Wheeling, September 28th at 7 p.m. So if you want to drive down the hill and get there to see that classic, and then back up here, the rematch, November 6th, pretty good ways into the future. It's a Wednesday at 5 p.m. here on the campus of West Liberty University. Coach, thank you for taking time out of your morning
Absolutely.
today, and good luck in the first one of this year. We'll see you next week to talk about that first game. Finally, we get the season started.
I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
We're Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration, and we're gonna save you. We've got it down to a science, an absolute state of art. We do it all, restoration, cleaning, and reconstruction. When disaster strikes, just pick up the phone. We're Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration, and we're gonna save you.
Welcome back to Inside Hilltopper Athletics, here with assistant coach of men's and women's cross country, Michael Gwynn. Thank you for being here with us. The season preview is over. It is now time to start talking regular season. We can kind of get into this. The first one for this year will be the West Liberty Invitational, hosting it September 5th at 5 p.m. up at Bethany. How's the team feeling? We've seen the veterans, and then we have the youngsters as well. Do you notice a difference at all?
I guess I'll start on the women's side. We've got 3 veterans returning, and they kind of came in, hit the ground running, doing really well, taking the freshman athletes underneath their wing and really showing them the ropes, and just the whole group has just really been pushing together, and there's been a lot of good bonding between the girls and the guys team. But on the girls' side for sure, the upperclassmen really helping the freshmen out. It's been a really good thing to see as a coach. Everyone's been improving just dramatically over the last couple of weeks, so we're really excited to get out and race this week. And then on the guys' side, we brought in a big class of 5 freshman athletes. Our upperclassmen, we have 3 very strong juniors returning, and just an outstanding sophomore that came in as a freshman last year and saw a ton of growth over the season. We're really excited with how that whole team's looking. We've got with our freshman class come in, a lot of them have jumped right in with the upperclassmen. We actually had a workout last night, and it was just kind of a really awesome thing to see. We had 6, 7 guys running together, hitting their paces like clockwork, just the way cross-country training is supposed to go, and we're really excited for Thursday to go out and just see where we stack up against a lot of conference competition at our meet. We're also going to have some regional teams at our meet as well, a couple teams from the PA area, and then we actually have a team, Kutztown College is coming down from up north, so we're pretty excited about that.
These kind of things seem to go pretty well early in the season for all of these schools coming together to get this stuff going. It's been pretty dry this summer, and recently we've had a little bit of rain, but maybe not enough to really make much of a difference. What do you expect the course condition to be like at Bethany?
So over at Bethany, the course is really hard right now, so that actually makes for a faster course. If it's not really soft, then your footing's a little bit stronger, and you don't have to worry about unevenness and your ankles giving way a little bit. So I'm expecting the course to run pretty fast. A lot of dead grass, so it's not, we've had to do a little bit of cutting, but not as much as you would normally. We'll probably have to go around a couple times just to blow the debris off, the leaves and stuff that are starting to fall, just so that the course looks really good on Thursday. But with the help that we've had from the administration and stuff at Bethany for the meet's been really nice. They've really helped us just with the whole process of getting the meet set up. I'm familiar with the course because I used to set it up in previous years. So we're just excited to get over there and really see how it goes.
Well, there hasn't been a whole lot of time that the students have been back in school yet. Has anybody complained or had any issues with school starting up, especially the incoming freshmen straight from high school? New experience for them.
Yeah, no, it seems like they're doing really well, adjusting really well. They kind of leaned on each other, which is really nice to see. We actually were able to let them go home this weekend for the long weekend. We worked out a little bit earlier, and we worked out on Friday instead of Saturday this week, and we let them go home, and then they came back a little bit later for the workout yesterday. So they kind of got that little bit of learning about college and got to go home, see mom and dad again, and then come back. So now a little bit longer period of time before they get to go back home and things, but most of the parents will make it to the meet this weekend because we have a lot of local kids on the team within 2 hour radius. So we're pretty excited to get everybody up here and just let everybody see what we've been doing and what we've been working towards.
I asked Coach Faldo this on the preview show, but I wanted to get your opinion as well. What do you feel like is the most difficult course you're going to run this season?
It'll be our conference championship course at Ogilby. It's a beautiful course on a golf course, and it's really well maintained, but it's just got some really really challenging hill climbs in it, and then some of the footing in some areas there's a little rocky and stuff. But that's cross country for you, so we expect it, and we try to get down there and run. Not on the course, but around the park, just to get the hilly terrain, just to help us try to acclimate to the hills. And then up here on the hilltop, we run a lot of elevation gains, so that helps us as well, preparing for that one.
Well, Coach, I appreciate you being on here with us, taking the place of Coach Falvo. You gotta get on him about doing the coaches shows.
No, he'll be at the next one. He just had a little bit of we had a couple recruits today that we had to deal with. So
we'll give the fans a little heads up of your schedule this year and when they can come and watch you guys run. Again, September 5th is the West Liberty Invitational at Bethany at 5 p.m. And September 14th, it's a Saturday, 10 a.m. also at Bethany. It's Bethany Bison Invitational. September 28th at Lock Haven, as Coach Gwynn said earlier. That's a Saturday at 10 a.m. October 11th, the Friday at 10 a.m. The Doug Watts Open at Edinburgh, PA. And then the postseason begins October 26th, a Saturday. The Ogilby Resort, the Crispin Golf Course for the MEC Championships, then Lock Haven again for the NCAA Division II Atlantic Regional, and then out in Sacramento, California, hopefully we get some runners out there for the National Championship in Division II.
Yeah, that would be a great accomplishment. We're working towards trying to bridge that gap and close down on that national level caliber competition at our regional championship. So. And
one last question before we go: your expectations for this first invitational of the season.
I just want to see on the women's side. I want to see the girls just get out and run comfortable through the first mile, and then really try to push the envelope a little bit. And on the guys' side, the same thing. Just kind of get out a little conservative, and then just really trying to teach those freshmen how to pack run. And the upperclassmen, they know what they're doing. I'm hoping that they'll pull the freshmen along. I think we have a really good chance to have 6, 7 guys running in a nice big pack with 1 or 2 front runners up front. So it'd be really nice to see.
Well, Coach, thank you so much for your insight and being with us today. Again, folks, assistant coach for men's and women's cross country here at West Liberty, Michael Gwynn. Thank you for being with us, and we will see you, if not next week, sometime down the future for sure.
All right, thanks so much for having me.
Thank you.
Disasters happen. Pick the team that takes care of them all. Powered by offices in Wheeling, Morgantown, and Pittsburgh, Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration is ready to handle any size emergency at a moment's notice. We have the right people, knowledge, and equipment to respond 24 hours a day.
I'm Roger Wiley. When disaster strikes your home or business, tell your insurance provider you prefer the restoration company the Hilltoppers call, Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration.
Welcome back to Inside Hilltopper Athletics. I am Todd Allum with the head coach for volleyball, Mackenzie Johnson. Thank you so much for being here with us again. We talked a little bit for the preview show, but now we get to talk more detail about this first match against East Stroudsburg in the Ashland Invitational Tournament. What do you expect to see from East Stroudsburg, their style of play, their talent level? They're in a different conference, so you don't get to see them quite as much.
Yeah. We actually played against them last year when we traveled to Deweyville. They're a very competitive team. They took us to 5. We did end up coming out on top last year, but they're a very middle-heavy offense. Their middles are very strong. One of their middles, I believe, made the conference team for the PSAC. Their setter really knows how to run an offense. Their serve receiver is strong, and they have some heavy pin hitters. But the biggest thing in practices that we've been focusing on is being able to shut down middles. In that, it helps our middles become a little bit more available too. So that's one thing I think I'm looking forward to, is seeing how we match up, with the middle-heavy offense.
How do you feel the team has adjusted so far now that school is back in session? You've got the veterans that have been here a while. They know what college is about. But the newcomers, whether it be incoming freshmen or transfers to the team, how have they adjusted so far?
Yeah, I would say I'm super proud of this incoming group. I think our transfer and our 3 freshmen have come in quite seamlessly. I think preseason was really, really good for us. We implemented a few new things, kind of running a little bit of a different offense. But I think if I could pick 2, it'd be Kai White and Grace Yoder. They really have stood out, in these preseason scrimmages. We've gotten the chance to play, I believe, 9 different teams in the past 2 weeks through tournaments and home scrimmages. So seeing them kind of come out of their shell and learn how to play next to new people, and seeing them build their confidence throughout practices and matches has been super cool to watch.
This being your first season as head coach, any feeling of nervousness, anything like that, or are you ready to go and excited?
Yeah, I think it's more anxiousness than anything, ready to get there and ready to kind of get my feet wet a little bit. I tell the girls all the time, I'm very confident in them, and they can continue to be confident in me. But that's the biggest thing, is making sure that they know that I believe in them as a team, as a group, and making sure that both sides of the net are kind of competing in practices. That's the biggest thing. But I don't think I'm nervous. I think I'm just anxious. I'm ready to get there. I'm ready to compete.
You've got a bunch of matches early on in these tournaments. How does the team deal with all of that and just go from one match to the next? Because you just got to kind of put it, win, lose, or draw, put it out of your mind and move on.
I think it kind of helps our mindset now, going through these matches where it's kind of a quick turnover. It prepares us really well for conference and kind of getting over those losses and celebrating those wins. In conference play, I always say 12 to 24. But, with this, it's more like 30 minutes to an hour, right? So we can enjoy our break, reset, rejuvenate, those kind of things. But just making sure that, no matter what the outcome is the score is 0-0 the next match. It doesn't really matter right now. What we have done is now in the past. We got to look forward, move forward.
Again, looking on to some of these, we said the first match of the season will be in the Ashland tournament versus East Stroudsburg. That'll be September 6th at 10 a.m. For the folks at home. The first home match will be September 17th versus Ursuline at 7 p.m. Again, not looking too far ahead. I know no coach wants to do that, but just the thought of the first match of the year for your first year as a head coach. What are your thoughts on that?
I don't know. I'm really excited. I think that, these past 2 weeks, I've kind of watched them grow as a team and implement the things that I want to be seen on, our offense, our defense, and on our side of the net. I really focus on our side of the net. I don't really do a whole lot of scouting for these pre-conference tournaments or in matches like that. But I don't know. I'm really excited. Their team looks really good. We had a tournament at the Highlands first weekend, and then we had a tournament at Bridgeport this past weekend. And just seeing the growth in the past week is absolutely amazing. I'm blown away every single time they step on the court. So I'm excited.
We'll look forward. We will look forward, myself, the host of the show, and the viewers at home. We will let the coach and the players take it one game at a time. But for us, The big ones, obviously, Wheeling University. The first time the Toppers play them will be October 15th, Tuesday at 7 p.m. at Wheeling University. And then the final match of the regular season, November 15th, that's a Friday at 7 p.m. here at the ASRC. The Toppers will take on one of their biggest rivals in the final game of the regular season. Do you like that, having the big rivals be right at the end of the year?
Yeah, I think, it has its pros and cons. I think, it kind of builds up our season, and sometimes the season can be anticlimactic towards the end, but I think that, playing them on our senior night is really huge for our seniors. I think that'll give our team, something else to play for other than it just being our rival team. But I always tell the girls, it doesn't matter who's on the other side of the net. We have to play West Liberty volleyball. Whether, we're playing our rival, whether we're playing someone we don't normally play, whether we're playing a team we have never played before. I think the biggest thing is playing West Liberty volleyball and knowing what we can do and what our strengths are, playing to those and not really trying to focus on our weaknesses.
Well, Coach, I appreciate you taking time out of your morning to come film this show with us. Again, folks at home, their first match of the year, September 6th in the Ashland tournament versus East Stroudsburg. It's at 10 a.m. if you want to be sitting home, making sure you get that early in the morning to watch and pay attention. Coach, again, thank you for being with us on this. Good luck in the first match
Thank
or
you.
meet, whatever it is. We'll figure it out here. Too many sports all in one morning, but we'll figure this out. Thank you so much for being with us.
Thanks for having me.
Can't wait to talk to you again next week after these first round of games are over for you.
Yep, hopefully we're talking about going 4-0.
We're Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration, and we're gonna save you. We've got it down to a science, an absolute state of art. We do it all, restoration, cleaning, and reconstruction. When disaster strikes, just pick up the phone. We're Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration, and we're gonna save you.
Welcome back to Inside Hilltoppers Athletics. I am with second-year head coach Pete McMenemy for women's soccer. Thank you so much for taking time out this morning to be with us.
Good morning. Thanks for having us.
First game this season will be against Seton Hill, September 5th. That's a Thursday at 12:30 p.m. It's a road game, a road match, but how's the team feeling so far against getting off training and now finally getting to play that first match?
I think they're excited. Obviously we wait a long time to get the season going. We have a small kind of window to work on some things in terms of training and then some pre-season games, but I think everyone's really excited, and as I said, we've waited a long time to get to this moment, and I think we're just excited to get things up and running.
For the newcomers on this team, whether they be incoming freshmen or transfers, the first couple weeks of school has been going on now. How have they adjusted to student life on campus?
I think they've done really well. This past week we've just kind of conducted some individual meetings with all of our players, but specifically focusing on our new incoming players. So they've done really well. They've adapted really well. They've been able to meet players from different teams, different athletes, but then also people that are non-athletes, through their majors. I think that's really important part of the student experience. So they've certainly integrated themselves very well, and we're really happy with the progress that they're making.
First game again against Seton Hill at their place. What do you expect to see from Seton Hill in terms of the style and talent level?
They'll be a tough opponent. We did it for a reason. I think we play a lot of tough away matches in conference play, so this will be no different going there. Riley, their coach, has a team. They're very well drilled. They're very well organised, and they're a tough opponent. PSAC conference for women's soccer is no joke. So it'll be a tough opponent, but for us, we're excited for the challenge. I think they'll be strong, they'll be physical, but they can also play that technical style of play as well. So playing at 12:30 p.m. as well also has its little challenges as well during the middle of the day. So these are all things that we're excited to tackle, and I think it's important that we recognise there is a tough team that we're coming up against, but we have to attack the challenge, attack the day, and we're looking forward to doing that.
And I don't want to jump too far ahead. I know no coach in any sport does, but we've got some other games that I know Topper fans out there would want to know about. The next game after this first one, second game of the season, will be September 8th, Sunday at 12 p.m. at Pitt Johnstown. Then the first home match will be Sunday, September 15th versus Fairmont State at 1 p.m. What do you expect to see in that one, the first home match? What do you expect for West Liberty crowd and just the feel of the team?
I think you're going to see two teams that want to attack and want to go and want to try win the game. Kennell at Fairmont, he looks to for his teams to play attacking soccer, and so do we. So, if last year's anything to go by, where it was a kind of 4-3 thriller when we played them at home, then I would look for something kind of similar, to be honest. Which I could do without the 4-3 lost, perhaps, or 7 goals in a game. But in terms of being able to come see two teams that want to attack, that want to try and win the game, play exciting, good technical soccer, and then I think that's definitely what you can expect. If you're a neutral, so to speak, in that, and there's not many, there will be a neutral, but if you're a neutral, it'll be an exciting game.
And then the other rivalry team, it doesn't matter what sport it is. If it's West Liberty, it's going to be a rivalry against Wheeling University. That first match will be September 29th, a Sunday at 1 p.m. at Wheeling University. Always a good one against the Cardinals.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, goes without saying, it's a big rivalry throughout all sports here at West Lib, and also for them down the hill at Wheeling. So I think that's important to have in sport. And then certainly for us, it's been one over the last 2 or 3 years that has kind of went back and forth, and I think really form goes out the window in those kind of derby matches. So I think for sure we expect every team to be stronger than last year, and I think there's no doubt that Wheeling will be too. So we're excited for that game. Always a good atmosphere down there, and then also when we play here. So definitely a lot of opportunities going into that game, and hopefully we can head into that game on the back of some positive performances and positive results.
Well, Coach, I want to thank you for showing up this morning and filming with us. Very appreciative of that. Again, the first match of the season at Seton Hill, September 5th. That's a Thursday, this coming Thursday at 12:30 p.m. in the middle of the start of the afternoon. Again, good luck in that game, and we will look forward to seeing you next week and being able to talk about something instead of just previewing games and previewing a season. We actually get to talk about some action. So thank you for joining us, folks at home. Thank you for watching as well, and we will see you next week on another edition of Inside Hilltopper Athletics.
From humble beginnings in 1837, West Liberty University has been home to thousands of students. Whether you're a recent high school graduate or looking to complete a college degree later in life, starting your educational career at West Liberty University will be the catalyst for your future. This is a place where you will discover who you are and where you belong, surrounded by lifelong friends and a supportive faculty and staff. Start your journey home at westliberty.edu.